Good evening, everyone. My name is Brianna Kuiper, and this is my presentation on my final thoughts with using the pre-seed proceed model throughout our final project. Just a little bit of background before I get started. Through using the pre-seed proceed model, my intervention that focused on diabetes in Wilcox County, Alabama, included using a mobile clinic to serve the residents of Wilcox County in a cost-effective and efficient manner with the 2 years we have for the program to hopefully achieve our goals of reducing the prevalence of diabetes in the county, achieving the goals of obtaining more blood and foot checks, as well as checking the community for diabetes throughout the program in a cost-effective manner. So the strengths of using the pre-seed proceed model I found throughout my final project included the fact that it was a community-based model. This model really encourages participation throughout the entire community to achieve one specific goal, and that includes participation during the planning and implementation phases from health professionals, policymakers, and all community members as well. Throughout all phases of this model, I really enjoyed that the community should be involved throughout, meaning the community should be involved throughout all pre-seed phases, as well as all proceed and evaluation phases. And I also thought that a strength included was that this model really provides a structure to plan your work from. So it really lays out the foundation and groundwork for implementing this intervention and analyzing the data in the beginning. Some weaknesses I found included that the logic model itself can be confusing and hard to read unless we had the material to read through it and understand how it's supposed to be read, but as a community member looking at this and not having any background of how the model is supposed to be read and flow, I think it can be very confusing. Also, not all parts of the model may work in different situations and different interventions. It all depends on the situation. Although this model does provide specific steps, like I previously mentioned, these steps may not apply to every situation. So in that case, you may need to make change of the order of the phases. You may even need to eliminate some phases. But whatever that needs done, I guess the strength of this weakness would be that the intervention can be manipulated in a way that works for you. My lessons learned throughout completing the final project included identifying interventions based on the pre-seed assessments. I think that this really worked out well for me. After analyzing all of the background data and conducting my literature research, I found that the mobile clinic intervention really seemed like it fit this community on point, and I really felt like I used a very good intervention to address this community and its needs. I also felt that analyzing community data to identify potential barriers and predisposing factors really worked well as well, and also having access to the community data worked well. We weren't able to interview the community, obviously, so having access to all of the community data really worked well in our favor to create an intervention, and I think a lot of you would agree with me on that. So some challenges. I felt definitely that a challenge was identifying an intervention while considering budget restraints. This was kind of hard for me, and not ever having dealing with that amount of money at one time. And also the inability to survey community members, like I mentioned. Also a challenge was identifying ways to make the intervention sustainable after funding is cut. So I really appreciated having a week that focused on sustainability because I really did not know much about that before this class. Different approaches I would take include surveying target population, like I mentioned before, to better identify environmental predisposing, enabling, and reinforcing factors. We really we are just, doing the best we can with the data that we are presenting with, but I think really surveying the population and getting to the groundwork of the population would be wonderful in identifying and better understanding their environmental restraints and concerns. Brainstorming more intervention ideas that would fit within the budget restraints. And also, I would brainstorm more ways for community collaboration with the mobile clinic intervention. So, with my intervention specifically, I found it challenging to think of ways that the community could collaborate all together. So, I really think I would just try to spend more time focusing on this. These are my references, and thank you for watching my presentation. I appreciate it.